Yeah.
This would be the equivalent of it being like $22.
Yeah. Okay, but
No,
tell me
this
this.
is a
Is it
AAA
still
title.
that price? It's not that price now. It was for just for Black Friday.
Let me check. Because it was actually for days last week on Xbox for $40. Let me look. Hold on.
All right.
Either way, that's a slap in the face to people. Fallout 76. Let's see how much it is. Okay, fuck you. It's back up to the regular price.
Yeah,
But
of course.
Still.
It was just a they were just getting in on the sales.
Okay, here's another thing though. They were going to be offering refunds. Then
Really?
they backtracked.
No, yeah, I heard
They
about this.
reneged on it because somebody tried doing it. They posted the screenshot. They said that, we're working, we can't refund you right now, but we will let you know as soon as we're able to, but it's in the process of getting done. Then they re-emailed him a day later or so, and they said, actually, you bought the game digitally, and one of the agreements is that if you buy any digital content for the game, you're not able to refund it. So the guy's like, okay, well, now I guess I'm just fucked. Either way, there's been so much bad publicity coming out of this fucking game in Bethesda camp at the moment. What is your take on all this?
I think, for one, it seems like Bethesda has been able to get away with like having janky games for a while. So I think they were just assuming people would just think, this is more of the same. But I think people had really high expectations for this. And maybe that's the fault of the people who, were buying the game. The game does not... This isn't like a No Man's Sky situation where it doesn't deliver on what they say you can do. It's just that there are issues, right?
Right.
But people are now going back to their older games and picking those apart more, being like, you know what? These other games had like lots of fucked up issues too. So
now it's like all fucking out like lynch mob for fucking Bethesda.
Yeah. But like you've told me in the past, like that's part of the charm of some of their games. I asked you, I said, what makes Fallout...
I didn't say it's not charming whenever I run into a bug, but I kind of just expected it from this engine and everything.
But, I mean, I asked you, I said, what makes Fallout New Vegas so good? Is it, the gameplay and the story, or, is it...
It really is the story.
Does the glitchiness
it's the story a lot.
make
it's the story,
it fun?
The atmosphere, the aesthetics in general, the environment. I mean, like everything, the immersion. Like, that's what's got me into all their games. The characters, the dialogue, all of that's great. We get that there's a little bit buggy of an engine, but there's also great with the VAX gameplay. Like, there's a lot of good gameplay mechanics to Fallout, and even like the Skyrim and Elder Scrolls series.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know where they kind of went wrong on this. It's not the same developers that were developing all those other games. Like, they've hired new people to integrate with an online service-only game. But, and there will be fixes to it, I'm sure. Like I said, if anything, they're going to make sure to release a bunch of free content for the people that did invest in this game. I could see that happening going forward. I do worry that I will say this. There's probably only around like 20-something people per server anyway, max. And you can only team up with 4 people, I believe, in your party. So it's not like you have to have a huge online player base, but I feel like they've drastically lost a player base already from out of the gate by all these issues being, so public.
Well, I think there's definitely like a core, fan base that has no problems with this game.
I'm sure there are. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just think that for the masses, if as many people bought this as like Red Dead, or even half of the people, I could see people being pissed off because, like if I bought it.
A lot of people canceled. Yeah, a lot of people canceled their pre-orders after playing the beta.
If I bought it, I probably wouldn't appreciate anything about it, I would be expecting some like big, awesome game. Like they really built this thing up at E3,
Well, they did. I know. It's kind of a sad situation. One thing I was going to say, though, and now Red Dead, which we'll get to in a minute, online is launching this week, so that kills a lot of the player base that might have been playing Fallout online.
Yep.
So, I mean, but now, okay, so that's kind of where they're at currently. Some of the controversial stuff they've done over the last couple of weeks. Now I want to get into a little bit of a CDSTFU.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
Yeah. Ryan, can you hit us off with that? We all like to complain about whatever we see. It's just a way of life, but it don't need to be. So gather around Genies and grab a cup so you can calm down and shut the fuck up. All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
It was better than the last time.
Yeah, better.
I'll give
better
it,
than last week.
Yeah. Well, no, we didn't do it last week. We did. I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
No,
It doesn't fucking matter. Okay. The calm down, shut the fuck up with this, though, is all the backlash. It's kind of like, is all of it warranted, and then should it be so extreme from everybody?
Yeah.
And I want to read. First, I'm going to read the press release that Bethesda did tonight. This would have been on the 27th of November. So, you're hearing this after that. But here's what they said. They said, to Reddit, I believe, they said, "We know you're frustrated and angry at the state of things right now, whether it's the issues you're running into in the game or the lack of communication about fixes, updates, or news. To be clear, this account is run by us, Bethesda Game Studios community team." First of all, a little bit too fucking late. They should have been doing this damage control a week ago. But anyway, then they added in saying, "We didn't want you to think the silence meant nothing was happening. We're sorry and understand this was not the right approach, and we'll work to make a better bridge between you and the dev team at BGS." So there's that. They also said they're going to be having numerous bug fixes coming out on the 4th of December, which is just a few days away. And essentially it's 1 week from now. But some of the things are going to be increasing the stash limitations. They're going to be increasing hopefully not increasing bugs, but fixing bugs.
They probably will inadvertently.
I'm sure. Yeah. But that finally happened. I want to read somebody's response in the comment section sorry, this guy responded back to me, but on the comment section of IGN, this guy had a lengthy response, and I thought it was a great fucking response. It kind of felt exactly how you and I are feeling. We've talked about this, so right. I'm sorry I'm being so long-winded right now, but I'm going to read his response. Here's what he said. This guy goes by the name Bobby Pop-Tarts, which is a fucking great name anyway, but all right. This game released in a bad state, but the overwhelming hate surrounding the game is more of a snowball effect from gaming news outlets and YouTubers sensationalizing the situation for ad revenue than the game releasing in an unfinished state. A contributing factor here is that there is a trend that has been happening for years, including releasing broken games, and people are getting sick of it. But this becoming a tipping point of public outrage is more of a media coverage surrounding it. It's a Bethesda RPG and a Fallout game. People are going to click and see what is being said about it. And content creators know that, which incentivizes them to keep talking about it. I see the vast majority of people talking down on the game openly admit they haven't played it and refer to talking points made by YouTubers over and over again. There is so many gaming news related content being made and so many new faces coming onto the scene, and he puts that in quotations, that basically all parrot the exact same news articles and talking points day to day, and it's hard to not get lost in the mix. When you see multiple outlets and personalities saying the same thing over and over, it tends to paint a hyperbolic picture. In Fallout's case, it made very poor creative decisions that alienated many fans, like removing NPCs and retconning lore. The game, plain and simple, was not ready to be released. I played the game 15 hours in the beta and 50 hours or so in its current release. I've seen bugs and crashes and other unfavorable things have happened. None of them can compare to the compilation videos that play over and over again on the reviews of 76 related media. When you have people uploading these clips and then compiling them together and telling people how awful the experience is, it's a bit disingenuous. We know that these moments that happen are few and far between, if I can fucking read. Jesus, Ryan. Yet, we're going to act like this is how the game really plays. I'm not defending Fallout 76. I've enjoyed playing it and very mixed opinions on the overall experience, but I genuinely don't feel like this game is nearly as bad as it's being portrayed, and it's kind of being made public. It's kind of been made as a public kicking bag by an angry mob that's more mad about the slipping standards of the gaming industry than Fallout 76 being released without push-to-talk and basic launch features you'd expect out of a full-price game. Not buying or playing Fallout 76 is fine. Being upset about the bugs and crashes, the price drop, any of it is fine. The point I'm trying to bring up isn't that you should feel a certain way about the game, but the circumstances that lead up to this. I feel like if more people had played this game on their own without any outside influences, most people would think the game is average. Maybe unpolished, maybe a little boring in places, but I don't think these hypothetical lab rat gamers would be so upset about what they played, and they would react in a way they probably are now. Just a thought. So I would not be reacting in that way. So
you agree?
My thing is, I would not have read that entire 2-minute fucking monologue of a comment if I didn't think that Bobby Pop-Tarts said exactly what you and I feel. I feel like that he is completely...
What kind of Pop-Tart do you think
correct.
he is?
I hope he's not that fucking s'more bullshit.
I like the strawberry one with like the frosting on top. That's like the original, right?
No, the original actually doesn't have any frosting on top. It's just strawberry in the middle.
Oh. All right.
So I asked him, I was like, can I read your comment? He's like, go for it. I'll warn you from experience that if you have anything to say that goes against the current mentality, anything related to Fallout 76 is horrible. You'll get blowback from the people. And I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Well,
you think we give a fuck about it? What the whole point of this is calm down, shut the fuck up.
Like blowback, like what? They're going to be like, you're wrong. We disagree. Like what?
Yeah,
so
I don't give a shit.
This was part of what I wanted to talk about and calm down, shut the fuck up. And that's that. It's not only the fans of Bethesda or people who play Bethesda games and Fallout. There's like this subset of gamers, like who consider themselves like hardcore gamers, who maybe in my experience, people who've played PC games, from the early 90s on, who think they're like this elite kind of gamer. And they have such this complainy, entitled mentality where they like act very like reasonable and educated about what it is that they love, and if that's gaming, then it is. And this style of game, really entices those people. But just like any other game, like everyone deals with launch problems. Yeah, we didn't have to back in the day. Whatever.
Well, no, think about this. GTA 5 Online, you don't remember this. It was broken for like days. I
still consider GTA, but I still consider GTA 5 modern enough that like, and it was mostly console, especially at launch, but like something like this, where I feel like Fallout is really appealing to like this like PC gamer, right? Or am I wrong?
It just appeals to you're kind of wrong on that. I wouldn't say that. I would just say that it appeals to just passionate gamers. So I get that.
Right. But people think because they're passionate that they can be assholes. So I'm just going to tell you what makes me feel this way. So there's a guy, I don't remember who it was. I'm not even going to really quote him. I just don't really remember exactly how this went, but it was on Twitter, and he was like, a lot of people are being, insane about this. Like, you don't need to make death threats. You don't need to, whatever, like fly off the handle. But then he proceeded to be like, and here's like all these issues, but like he was an asshole about it. And it's like, well, you're still part of that. You're still part of just like, you're relentless. It's like, offer solutions maybe. I don't know. Just like people need to CDS TFU. And you calm down, shut the fuck up.
CSTFU.
I think that mentality is just like a very like wide. It has a wide scope. Like a lot of people are like that, especially in that that crowd. What do you think about that?
So I think you're talking about this '90s PC gaming culture. I get that's where a lot of hardcore, passionate fans come from. Because if you think about it like this. They've been doing this, especially online competitive gaming, for 20 years now, essentially. So I get they might be a little bit more passionate and hardcore than the, 14-year-olds that got into gaming a couple years ago. And they're kind of like, they understand the current climate. They didn't see all the bullshit that's happened. So I totally get, though, that PC gamers that are more in the hardcore aspects of gaming, especially online gaming, will be upset with Fallout. Like, I get that, because like, why is it 2018 you're releasing this and I'm paying full price and this is what you're giving me as far as like a finished product? I understand that, and I don't think that, and I'm worried that that's where the industry is going as far as like releasing unfinished games in their early access, but for full price, and that's bullshit. I hope that I appreciate the no pun intended fallout of this whole bullshit. Oh, give me the Emmy now. I appreciate where this is going to take Bethesda going forward. They won't make some mistakes like this, because I hope they won't. I hope that a lot of other AAA developers think about things like this and always look back